The State of Michigan versus Kelly Sue Brady, file 210480SD. Counsel, please identify yourselves for the record.
Thank you, Patrick Swinski for the people.
Your Honor, Richard Lee on behalf of the defendant, Ms. Brady.
All right, today is the time and date set for settlement conference in this case. Has there been an agreement reached between the parties?
Yes, there has, Your Honor. My
And
client
what is
will be
the terms?
pleading guilty to visibly impaired and disorderly.
And the original charges will be dismissed?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Schwinski, is that the offer in the case?
It is, and I don't know if we settled on disturbing the peace or disorderly drunk. I just leave it up to Mr. Lee. They're really the
Disturbing
same
the
thing.
peace.
Disturbing the peace?
Disorderly.
Okay.
That's fine.
And Mr. Lee, you're recommending that your client accept that offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
May I address your client regarding that?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Brady, good morning again.
Good morning, sir.
Your attorney is recommending that you plead guilty to an added count of visibly impaired driving and being a disorderly person. He is recommending that you plead to those two charges, and the original charge of operating while intoxicated and possessing a firearm while intoxicated would be dismissed. Are you planning on following your attorney's advice?
Yes, sir.
All right, if you would, please raise your right hand where I can see it. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Put your hand down now. Has anyone promised you anything more than what we've talked about on the record or threatened you in any way to get you to plead to this when you really do not want to?
No, Judge.
Under the influence of any medicine, drugs, or alcohol that's confusing you this morning?
No, Your Honor.
Going to show you a copy of an advice of rights form on a computer screen. Will you let me know when it pops up? It should be there by now.
It is.
At the bottom here is the signature. Is that your signature?
Correct.
I'm going to show you the top of the document, which shows that it's the advice of rights form. Did you sign that after you read the form?
I did, sir.
Understand the form?
I do.
Realize that by entering this plea, you're waiving all the rights that are outlined on this form?
Yes, I do.
Waive these rights.
Yes.
Okay. And we'll go back to the original document. I'm going to show you the original charges, and the reason why I'm showing you these is so you can see where you get the information from. You'll see that there's only two charges on this form. We're going to pretend that there's two more counts. So when you hear me talk about counts 3 and counts 4, what we're doing is taking count 1 and changing it to a count 3, and count 2 will become count 4 in a different form. So how do you plead to added count 3 of operating while visibly impaired as opposed to operating while intoxicated? Do you plead guilty to that charge, not guilty, or stand mute?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
How do you plead to an added count 4, which is this charge that's changed to a disorderly person? Do you plead by disturbing the peace? Do you plead guilty, not guilty, or stand mute?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
On or about April 23rd, were you operating a motor vehicle on or near Bay City Road in the city and county of Midland?
Yes, I was.
And prior to driving that day, had you consumed some alcoholic beverages?
Yes, I drank 4 draft beers.
Okay. And Mr. Lee, may I take judicial notice of the data master results of 0.14.14 as part of my analysis?
Yes, you may, Your Honor.
And ma'am, the law lets me take a factual basis based upon what happened, and we can enter it in as a different charge. At the time that you were pulled over, did you have a firearm in your vehicle?
Yes, it was in my back, behind my passenger seat, in a holster in my purse.
Okay, and that's something you probably had a license to carry, but
Yes, Your Honor.
you shouldn't have carried it when you were drinking.
Correct. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so based upon those facts, I think that would be sufficient to, but I will check with the attorneys. Mr. Schwinski, have I complied with the court rule and had an adequate factual basis?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lee, do you agree?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I find that the plea has been made knowingly, understandingly, voluntarily, and accurately. Will enter in as count 3, operating while visibly impaired. Count 4 will be disturbing the peace, a disorderly person. Counts 1 and 2, which is operating while intoxicated, and count 2, possession of a firearm while intoxicated, will be dismissed. We're going to set this over for a pre-sentence investigation. We have a date and time set for sentencing. Katrina?
Yes, Your Honor. That will be September 13th at 9 a.m.
September 13th at 9 a.m. All right. Mr. Lee, it looks like your client is compliant with pretrial services. She got her assessment done at Jace on June the 10th. They're recommending she continue with her therapist. She's been compliant with random testing. She's no prior record. So it looks like everything is going well. She just needs to continue doing what she's been doing prior to sentencing. Sentencing can be by Zoom. Is there anything else we need to place on the record, Mr. Shawinski?
Yes, Your Honor, we have some property and evidence I'd like to release. I don't know if she's currently prohibited from possessing firearms. I'm not aware if it's a bond condition. She's not. Okay.
All right.
And
So,
shouldn't be a problem. Thank you.
Mr. Lee, anything else you wish to place on the record before we adjourn on this case?
No, I think we've covered everything, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We'll be adjourned until September 13th at 9 a.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Your Honor, did you want a PSI for Ms.
Yes.
Grady? Yes. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Horn. We're going to call 3 cases. This is the People of State of Michigan versus Joe Louis Horn. The first one is a no proof of insurance ticket 20S425505C. The second one is a speeding ticket of 1 to 5 over on an expressway 20-S425505A. And the last one is a driving license suspended second case, file 20-0940ST. Counsel, identify yourself for the record.
Taya Duso on behalf of the people.
Mr. Horn, you're representing yourself. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Duso, is there an offer for Mr. Horn to consider?
It looks like last time we were here for a pretrial on July 9th, he had indicated that he was trying to plead and clear up the case in Flint so he'd be eligible to get his license back. I guess I would inquire first whether he's been able to get a valid license somehow.
Good question. Mr. Horn, how have you done with your homework assignment getting down to Flint?
I'm still in Saginaw. I took care of the stuff in Flint because Flint won't come get me until I'm done with the situation in Saginaw.
How long are you supposed to be in Saginaw? Do you know?
I have no idea.
So these are legal terms. I'll explain what they mean. Are you adjudicated in Saginaw or not adjudicated? So adjudicated means either pled or had a jury trial. Or are you still in the pretrial phase?
I'm still in my district court. I'm waiting on forensics to come get me.
Waiting on forensics to come get?
Yes.
Okay, so must be it's a felony charge. I'm not trying to get into the details. We're just trying to give a best guess of how long you might be there. So
Yes, and they don't have no like set time for forensics to come, so I'm just playing the waiting game.
you're in a holding pattern.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we'll be able to wait as long as the forensics for the charge in that case. I can tell you, sir, that I would just sentence you to fines and costs if you pled to it, but you would lose your license again for whatever period of time Secretary of State can take it.
Your Honor, I guess I'll say that if he, assuming he's probably not going to get his license back from the Saginaw County Jail, the offer would be for him to plead to DWLS first, as long as he also pays for the civil infraction. It's something of an offer, I guess.
So the prosecutor is going to reduce the charge from a driving license suspended second to a first, you still would have sanctions from the Secretary of State. My sentence would be the same either way. But unfortunately, we have no idea. I mean, I tried to give my best guess when you might be done in Saginaw so you could get down to Flint to try to clean things up, but I can't leave my case open forever. So, wish to have a trial or on the higher charge or plead to the lower?
I plead to the lower.
Okay, and you're going to accept responsibility for the no insurance and speeding on that same day then too?
Yes.
Okay, can you raise your right hand then where I can see it? Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You can put your hand down now. The prosecutor has offered to let you plead to the reduced charge of driving license suspended first. I said that I would send you to fines and costs because you're sitting in Saginaw County Jail for I don't know how long. Those are promises you can rely on, but has anyone promised you more than this or threatened you in any way to get you to plead to these when you don't want to?
No.
Are you right now under the influence of any medicine, drugs, or alcohol that's confusing you?
No.
If you entered this plea, you'll be waiving the right to a trial by jury or judge, the right to representation by an attorney, whether you hired one or I appointed one, the right to remain silent, not ever silence used against you, the right to be presumed innocent, to proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and the right to confront your accusers, call witnesses, and to testify. Do you understand each of these rights?
Yes.
Do you waive these rights to enter this plea?
Yes.
How do you plead to an added count 2 of driving while license suspended first offense? Do you plead guilty, not guilty, or stand mute?
Guilty.
On August 6th, 2020, were you driving on East US 10, Lincoln Township, Midland County, Michigan?
Yes.
Did you get pulled over for speeding?
Yes.
And then the police officer, did they ask you for your driver's license registration and proof of insurance?
Yes.
Were you able to give them proof of insurance on that date?
No.
Okay. And at the time that you were driving, was your license suspended?
Yes.
Have I complied with the court rule and had an adequate factual basis must do so?
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe I have as well. I find that the plea has been made knowingly, understandingly, voluntarily, and accurately entered in the records of the court as driving license suspended first, driving license suspended second, which is count 1, will be dismissed. I'm finding him responsible for the violations in file 20S425505A and C. Sir, I'm going to send you to $75 crime victim rights fee and a $50 state assessment fee, no other fines or costs. There's no restitution that's owed, Ms. Dusso?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so I'm going to send you the fines and costs, just like I said I would, but those are very minimum fines and costs. So you're going to have to figure out a way to make those payments as well as your speeding ticket and no proof insurance. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
Days to appeal the sentence, 14 days question court appointed attorney, otherwise will be adjourned on cases. The warrants are lifted on these cases and he is now sentenced. We're all set in Midland County, Mr. Horn. Good luck to you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Go. Good morning, Mr. Fultz.
Good morning.
We're waiting for Ms. Tome, so when she appears, we will call your case, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I did receive a call from Mr. Gust. He will be a few minutes late.
He's representing Mr. Sylvester, is that correct? I'm going to presume I'm correct.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm talking to Ms. Tome's office right now.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Fultz, I'm going to put you back in the waiting room while we're waiting.